My sister's fiancé demanded I sign an NDA to attend their wedding, and when I refused, my parents gave me 24 hours to move out. I, 19M, am sitting in my car in a parking lot because I honestly don't know where else to go. My phone has been blowing up for 3 hours straight. Here's the context. My sister Sarah, 26F, is getting married to Blake, 32M, in 2 weeks. Sarah has always been the golden child, the one who did everything right. Sorority president, marketing degree, perfect highlights. I'm the screw-up. I dropped out of state college after 1 semester due to severe depression, took a year off, and I'm now attending community college while working part-time at a warehouse. I live with my parents, and they remind me pretty much daily that I'm living on their charity. Blake comes from money. Real money, we have a family compound kind of money. He's always been decent to me on the surface, strictly polite, but he has these flat eyes. Not cold exactly, more like empty. Like the lights are on in a room with nothing in it. Whenever he talks to me, I get the sense he's already decided I don't matter and is just waiting for me to finish existing in his field of vision. Since the engagement, Sarah has become someone I don't recognize. She speaks differently around him, slower, more careful, like she's proofreading every sentence before it leaves her mouth. She's terrified of Blake's mother and consumed by the aesthetic. I wasn't asked to be a groomsman, which hurt, but I get it, I'm not Blake's friend. I was just expected to show up, wear a navy suit, and usher the elderly relatives to their seats without embarrassing anyone. 2 days ago, my parents sat me down at the kitchen table. Blake and Sarah were there too. The 4 of them were already seated when I came in, which should have told me something. Blake had a manila folder in front of him. He didn't say hello. He didn't do anything except slide the folder across the table toward me with 2 fingers, like he was moving a document across a desk to someone he'd just hired. The thud it made on the wood was very quiet. It somehow felt loud anyway. "What's this?" I asked. "A non-disclosure agreement," Blake said, without blinking. "For the wedding." I laughed because I thought he was joking. "You were kidding. We have high-profile guests coming. Business associates of my father. Local politicians. We need to ensure privacy. Everyone is signing one." I opened it. It was thick, more pages than I expected, and dense with legal language. But a few things jumped out almost immediately. It wasn't just about photos or social media. There were clauses about defamation of character, discussion of family finances, and a penalty clause of $50,000 for any violation. $50,000. I make $16.40 an hour loading pallets. "I'm not signing this," I said. "I'm your brother, Sarah. Not an employee." Sarah looked down at her lap. "Please. It's standard. Blake's family protects their assets." "I don't have 50 grand if I accidentally mention the food," I said. "Don't be dramatic," my dad snapped. "It's a formality. Sign the paper so we can focus on your sister." I pushed the folder back across the table. "No. If you don't trust me to be at my own sister's wedding without threatening me with a lawsuit, then I shouldn't be there." Blake looked at my dad. He didn't say a word. He just raised one eyebrow, barely a movement, and looked back at his hands. That was enough. My dad went red and told me I was being a selfish prick trying to ruin Sarah's day because I was jealous of her success. He told me if I didn't sign by Friday, which is today, I was uninvited. I walked out. I thought they were bluffing. Today I came home from my shift to find the locks changed. My dad opened the door when I knocked, but he didn't let me in. He handed me a duffel bag with some of my clothes stuffed inside. "You sign the document, or you find somewhere else to sleep," he said. "We are done supporting a son who sabotages this family." I took the bag and left. I'm not signing. It feels wrong in a way I can't fully articulate. But now I'm homeless. Am I losing my mind? Is this normal for rich people weddings? Update 1. It's been 24 hours since I posted. I slept in my car last night. It got down to 40 degrees, but I have a gym membership so I showered there this morning. I read through the comments. A lot of you pointed out that everyone signing one was probably a lie. You were right. I texted my cousin Mike, 20M. He's invited to the wedding, so I asked if he'd had to sign an NDA. He replied, "Lamau what? No. Why?" I felt the blood drain out of my face. It was just me. I called Sarah 3 times. She finally texted back, "Can't talk. Mom says you're being impossible. Just fix this." I texted, "Mike didn't have to sign one. Why is it just me?" She left me on read. I went to my friend Jay's house. His parents said I could crash on the couch for a few days. Jay is a pre-law student and immediately asked to see the NDA. I realized I'd left the physical copy on the kitchen table when I walked out, but then I got an email from Blake's personal assistant. Subject, document for signature, urgent. They'd sent a digital copy via sign. Jay read through it and started laughing. Then he stopped laughing. He got very quiet in the way people get quiet when something stops being funny. "This isn't a standard NDA," he said. "Not even close. Look at Clause 14. Clause 14 stated that the undersigned agrees to submit to a voluntary search of person and property upon entering and exiting the venue, including but not limited to personal effects, bags, and vehicle. Clause 17 stated that the undersigned waives any right to legal action regarding incidents arising from security removal, meaning if their guys threw me out, I couldn't sue them for it. Clause 9, which Jay circled twice, stated that the agreement retroactively covered past knowledge of family affairs dating back 3 years from the date of signature. "They're not gagging you about the wedding," Jay said slowly. "They are gagging you about something you already know. Something from before. They think you're sitting on information and they want to neutralize it before you even walk in the door." "I don't know anything," I said. "I barely even talked to Blake. I've been to maybe 4 dinners where he was present." Jay looked at me. "Then why does he need this level of legal architecture just to let you eat salmon at his wedding?" I didn't have an answer for that. I texted my mom, "I know Mike didn't sign one. I know this is targeted. I'm not signing. I'll come get the rest of my stuff tomorrow." She called me instantly, crying. "Please. Blake is furious. He knows about the arrest." I froze. I was arrested at 17 for possession of marijuana. 1 joint. The charges were dropped and I believed it had been expunged. It was the stupidest mistake of my life, but my parents have treated it like a felony ever since. "He thinks you're going to bring drugs to the wedding," she said. "He wants legal protection." That's insane. I haven't touched anything in 2 years. I get randomly drug tested at the warehouse. "If you don't sign it," she said, her voice going cold, "Blake is going to report your record to the community college. He has connections. He can get your admission reviewed." I hung up. They are threatening me into signing an NDA just so I can attend my sister's wedding. Update 2. Things escalated. I didn't sign. I ignored the DocuSign and stayed at Jay's. I was ready to cut them off entirely. I blocked my dad but kept my mom unblocked in case of a real emergency. Blake's bachelor party was in Vegas over the weekend. Obviously I wasn't invited. I was at work loading pallets when Sarah showed up at my job. She looked terrible. No makeup, eyes swollen, wearing sweatpants. She should have been at her bridal shower brunch. Instead she was standing in the warehouse parking lot looking like she hadn't slept in 2 days. She pulled me into the break room. My manager gave me the look but let it go. "You have to sign it," she whispered. She sounded frantic in a specific, exhausted way, like someone who had been running scared for a long time and had finally stopped having the energy to hide it. "You don't understand. It's not about the weed." "Then what is it about?" "Blake thinks Dad has been giving you money. Inheritance money from Grandma. He thinks you're hiding it for him." I stared at her. "What?" "Dad gives me nothing. I pay for my own gas, my own food. They let me sleep in the room, that's it." "I know that," she said. "But Blake thinks Dad has been funneling assets into your name to hide them from the prenup negotiations. He thinks you're the storage unit, basically, because you're the one nobody would think to look at." "There's a prenup?" "Yes. And Blake's lawyers have been tearing through our family finances for months. He's convinced there's hidden money somewhere and you're holding it." She paused. "He calls us the help when we're not around. Did you know that? He says it to his friends. The help is coming for the holidays." I looked at her. "And you're marrying him anyway." She wiped her face. She looked so small sitting there under the fluorescent lights in her sweatpants, nothing like the version of herself she'd been performing for the last 2 years. "Because Dad's business is failing. Blake's dad is bailing him out. The wedding is the merger. If I don't marry him, Mom and Dad lose the house, the business, everything. They've been underwater for 2 years and I'm the solution." She grabbed my hand. "Sign the paper. Come to the wedding, stand in the back, and keep quiet. Save the family. Please." She left before I could say anything. I sat in the break room for 20 minutes after she walked out. My dad isn't just an asshole. He's broke, and he's selling my sister to fix it. And I'm the loose end they're trying to tie up before the deal closes. Update 3. I went to the rehearsal dinner. I know how that sounds. Jay had done some digging through public property records and found something worth saying out loud. The rehearsal dinner was at a restaurant, a private room in the back, but still a restaurant, still a public space. No formal trespass warning had been issued against me at that location. So I put on my one good suit, Jay drove me, and I spent the entire ride trying not to throw up. When I walked into that back room, it went silent. My dad stood up so fast his chair scraped backward. Blake didn't stand. He just swirled his scotch and gave me this tight little smile that didn't reach those flat eyes. The prodigal son. Did you bring a pen? I'm not signing anything, I said. My voice was shaking, but I got the words out. And I know about the bailout. I know Dad is broke. The air left the room. My mom made a small, involuntary sound. Blake's smile disappeared. He looked at Sarah. Sarah looked at the table. Get him out, Blake said quietly to two of his groomsmen. I'm leaving, I said. But Blake, you should check the property records first. Dad transferred the deed to the house to Uncle Jerry 6 months ago. If you're marrying Sarah to secure family assets, you're buying into a shell. The house is already gone. My dad lunged across the table. Shut your mouth. The groomsmen grabbed me. I didn't fight. They walked me out through the kitchen and out the back exit into the alley. One of them shoved me hard enough into the wall that I bruised my ribs. Stay away, kid, he said. I sat on the ground for a minute, catching my breath. Jay pulled the car around. You just blew up the wedding, he said. I thought I had. I genuinely thought the whole thing would collapse overnight. But the next morning, Sarah texted me. The wedding is still on. Blake is furious. Please don't come tomorrow. I'm asking you, please. Stay away. I love you. Update 4. I didn't sleep. At 3 a.m., my dad texted me, you ungrateful bastard. You've humiliated us. Blake is willing to overlook your outburst if you sign by 8 a.m. This is your last chance to be part of this family. If you don't, consider yourself an orphan. He wasn't worried about my safety. He wasn't worried about Sarah. He was worried about the deal. I sat in Jay's driveway and thought about what Sarah had said in the break room. Blake knows now that Dad moved the house deed. So why is he still marrying her if the hidden assets are exposed? The answer I kept landing on was that he doesn't need the money. He has money. What he wants is the control. He wants to own them, my parents, my sister, the whole arrangement. He wants a family that owes him everything and has no way out. At dawn, I drove toward the venue anyway. I had to try one more time. The wedding was at a vineyard estate about 40 minutes outside the city. About 2 miles from the entrance, a sheriff's deputy was parked on the shoulder. As soon as I passed him, the lights came on. I pulled over. My hands were shaking on the wheel. The deputy came to the window. He didn't ask for my license or registration. He just leaned in and said, "You've got a brake light out." "No, I don't. I checked yesterday." He looked at me for a long moment. His face was completely neutral. "I'm telling you it's out. And if you continue down this road, I'm going to have to cite you for an unsafe vehicle, which means a full inspection. Could take most of the morning." He didn't have to say anything else. I understood exactly what he was telling me. I don't know for certain if Blake arranged it. I don't know if the deputy was on the payroll or just doing a favor for someone. What I do know is that I was a 19-year-old with a juvenile drug arrest, even an expunged one, and a full vehicle inspection on a rural road is not a situation I walk away from clean. Not with Blake's resources behind it. I did a U-turn. Half a mile back I pulled into a gas station. I called Sarah. Voicemail. I texted, I tried to get there. I couldn't. You don't have to do this. Call me and I'll come get you anywhere, anytime. I waited 2 hours on that curb. At noon, the exact ceremony time, my phone buzzed. I do. Then, a minute later, please don't contact me again. I have to make this work. I sat there for a long time. I didn't cry. I just sat there. Update 5. It's been 3 days. I'm on Cousin Mike's couch, the one who didn't have to sign the NDA. He's the only person in the family who believes me, mostly because he said the whole wedding felt wrong as hell even from where he was sitting. My parents have blocked me on every platform. Mike says the official family story is that I had some kind of episode and showed up at the rehearsal dinner acting erratically. That's what they're telling people. I'm the unstable one, the drug kid, the screw-up who tried to ruin his sister's wedding out of jealousy. The narrative was already built before I even did anything. But here's what Mike overheard at the reception from Uncle Jerry, the one Dad transferred the house deed to. Blake's family didn't give my dad money to save the business. Blake's father's company bought my dad's debt. They acquired the defaulted loans outright. Which means they can foreclose on his business, claw back the assets, and go after the house hidden in Jerry's name whenever they choose to. My dad didn't secure a merger. He secured a master. If my parents step out of line, if Sarah ever tries to leave, Blake's family pulls the plug and my parents are destitute overnight. The NDA wasn't protecting wedding photos. It was protecting the terms of a financial surrender that my family walked into voluntarily and can never fully escape. That's what Blake's flat eyes have always been about. Not cruelty for its own sake. Calculation. He's been looking at all of us and running numbers the entire time. I checked my bank account this morning. I opened a joint account with my mom when I was 16, first bank account, never got around to changing it over. I had $400 in there. My entire savings. The only money I had left after sleeping in my car and scraping together gas money for 3 days. It's gone. The transaction note says, rent, $400. Blake's family has a compound. They bought my father's debt in its entirety. And my mom reached into a joint account to take the last $400 her 19-year-old son had to his name. That's the number I keep coming back to. Not the $50,000 in the NDA penalty clause, not whatever the business debt totaled, not the value of the house they hid in Jerry's name. $400. That's what I was worth to them when the deal was done. I didn't sign the paper. I'm going to change my number, pick up extra shifts at the warehouse, and figure out how to cover tuition in the spring. That's the next thing. That's all there is right now. Thanks for following this. It helped to write it down those first nights when I was sitting in a parking lot in the dark not knowing what came next. Don't sign NDAs for family. And if someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time, not the 10th. Hi there, if you made it so far. Consider dropping a like and maybe subscribing. Thanks. And have a nice one.